So yeah, but like, can we really can Monet really trust Diana? And if Diana does rebel against her, who is to blame for that? Like, is Monet to blame for that, or what do you think it is? So yeah, it's a very laid question, but basically, is Diana going to stay loyal to Monet? So that is the question. So Dana, I will go to you first. What do you think about that?
Okay, yay. I will say this. If you want there to be character growth, if you want there to be any form of tension, she will have to pull away from that family. From a writer's perspective, if you're going to just keep this child, I wish, I hope, I dream, I hope maybe one day, huh? And you don't have her act upon that, then why am I watching this character? Every character I see, I want them to have some type of growth, some kind of this right now. She's at the revelation point. If she does not act upon that, what is the point of her character still being there? Because it just shows either you lack backbone, you just saying words to me, you really don't want to go. And even if she doesn't want to go, but she makes herself, pushes herself away from her family, that right there is some form of growth. So for me, as entertainment wise, because I still want my dinner scene, she has to grow and she has to be that threat to Monet. Remember the whole Oedipus theory of marry, what has to go? Marry your mother, kill your father. But in this one, it'll be kill your mother, marry your father, not literally. It's just in terms of taking place and to become a leader of the family and the leader of your own life. Remember, Monet is the Cancer. She said that from her guts. And if Monet is the Cancer, and you right now, you with the scalpel who can cut her out. I don't mean kill. You don't have to kill, but you have to separate. Do that biopsy. So biopsy yourself from Monet. And in order to do that, she has to act. It just can't be oh, I wish, I wish. Or else then, you know, nothing is going to happen from this. And then what is the point of me even watching you? So I'm going to go with yes. It's not going to be easy because I think that it might split the family apart. If you're looking at the family, the whole family sucks. They're grimy, they're terrible. But they have their own little qualities, except for Monet. But in order to, you see the family is kind of fracturing and doing its own thing a little bit right now. And we see that now with the whole revelation of Lorenzo and Monet. I think that in order for everyone to fully discover who they're going to become, Diana could be the catalyst of that. So the shortest answer to my very long speech is yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I do think there's probably gonna come a time where the family is a little bit split up. Like, they kind of split apart. I feel like it has to happen, just the way things are naturally developing. And if Lorenzo were to kind of be taken out, then I think that would send a ripple through the whole thing. So yeah. And I do think that Diana she's on a path to kind of come more into herself and grow, like you mentioned. And also she has Celine in her ear, and he's already kind of telling her, to kind of not let yourself be controlled by them, and so yeah. But go
But
ahead, Dana.
another thing, really quickly, if Lorenzo dies, I think that's a wrap for Diana. Mentally, everything else, that's a wrap. Because she would be far from done. That's when I'm getting on the bus by myself with my 2 cents and I'm going to another state. And I'm not telling you anything. I'm escaping in the dark of the night. I think that she would be done. I think it would be, if Lorenzo is killed by Monet, it would be a no turning back situation just because of how close she is to Lorenzo. Even though Lorenzo ain't dog poop either for guilting her into those drug things. But again, that goes to that whole monster mother thing is we want to obey our parents so much that we will constantly take the abuse just in hopes that they'll see how much we love them. So, but I think once that happens, if he is killed by Monet's hands, that she killed the only, you would say that she looks up to him kind of like an idol. You grow up looking towards your parents as idol figures. And he's dead, that's it. That's a wrap.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like your dad's like meant to be your superhero. So yeah, if he's gone and if she knows that it's Monet as well, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. And then Monet might say the whole Zeke thing happened where he killed Zeke, but then they can make the argument that you lied about Zeke for years, so you kind of like caused this whole thing. So yeah. But Rich, what do you think about Diana? Is she gonna stay loyal to Monet and the family, or like, will could we see her kind of take a dark turn later on and become more self-independent and stuff?
Well, let me start by saying I think it was a very good idea, Gary, for you to go to Dana first, because her name, that is the answer to all of this. Lorenzo's fingerprints. Monet knows that he had something to do with Zeke getting killed. So, to answer the question, I agree with everything that Dana said 100%. I feel like if Diana finds out that Monet kills Lorenzo, the game is over. And I do find it interesting how Salim is the one that got into her ear telling her you need to separate yourself from the family, because I kind of feel like that character also could be on borrowed time as well, because you already know that with Monet, she likes to play. She doesn't play no games. So if Diana was to retaliate and somehow make her look guilty in the fact that because we all can make the guess that she probably is going to kill Lorenzo unless someone else does it. But I'm just saying, if she does end up taking out Lorenzo, um, and obviously Diana wants her to pay for that, she's going to do everything in her power to make sure that obviously she will, number one, she will separate herself from the family, but she's also going to make sure that Monet pays for that. So that's why I say I can see a situation of them going back and forth, tit for tat. And if that is the case, then Salim probably going to get killed as well. I mean, I think we can come to that conclusion, but we have to see how the storyline plays out. We also know, as I mentioned on the show before, that Kane kind of knows that this character is a little suspicious, so Kane could also be the one to take him out as well. It all depends how the storyline plays out, because I can see, Diana going to Kane to try to talk to Kane once she finds out something happens to Lorenzo. And then Kane is still going to be conflicted also, because you saw in this episode, he grew closer to Lorenzo, as you already said, Gary. So this is why this is a very good writing standpoint. It's a good opportunity for them to progress the story, because there's a lot of complex things happening with the characters. And I do agree with what Dana said, though. Diana has to separate herself from the family. It's just a matter of how it's going to all go down, because again, she was there to witness Kevin Whitman getting killed. So I don't know how all of this plays out in terms of the storytelling, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out, because this whole thing with the mother and daughter, she helped out her mom. Everything is cool. We already know as viewers, everything is not cool between those two. There's a lot of unresolved issues. Now that Kevin Whitman is out of the picture, they can get to what's happening with these two characters. So uh, let's see what happens. But to answer your question, Gary, no, she's not going to be loyal to Monet, and she especially won't be loyal if Monet kills Lorenzo, which I think we all believe is going to happen very soon.
Yeah, agreed. And what, you gonna say something, Dana?
I just wanted to say really quickly, why are we killing Salim? Like, I'm all for murder, but why are we killing Salim exactly?
That's a good question.
I mean, I still say he's the CI. I have another theory about CIs. There's a bunch of CIs all up in the show, which is a good name for you. But at this moment, now we all know about the innocent situation, but I don't know if they're still keeping up with the innocent has to die, or at least maybe this time you'll stay dead, Lauren, please. I think that Salim could be that encouragement that Diana needs. Mm-hmm. We all need that little push. And Diana, I feel by herself, she would have never even gotten to where she is today. Not in terms of thinking about crossing the mother and breaking. Remember, she wrote The Freedom, and he's really feeding her ideas of, getting free, and maybe you have to just break away. Nothing negative in terms of you have to go and kill your mother and everything else, but just positive things to say, hey, I support you. Granted, it might also be because he wants the draws, which we also saw with the whole situation of them in the bed, and she was the one saying no, and he's all like, but your booby. So that's another thing that I don't like about him. But he has not done anything negative. He technically has been supportive. I just don't know if it's for a motive, the draws, or because he genuinely cares. Also, he's really older. I'm not sure how old, but he's much older than her. So I don't like him, but I don't see death to death. And I love, you got to kill somebody, but I don't like him.
Well, I agree, and and the reason why I believe that the character is on borrowed time is because there is one thing that we didn't really address, and we've already mentioned that Diana is obviously selling products at the job, right? So I do think eventually he's going to find out about this, and he's going to question her about this. He'll probably say, whoa, I thought you were different from your family. You're just like your family. At that point, something has to happen to the character. If he finds out about this stuff, and then it might be a bit of a problem. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that situation, because he is going to find out eventually, though. I think that's coming at some point. I just don't know how they're going to deal with that situation when it happens.